Good evening and happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Dog Tag Diva podcast. It is Tuesday, July 8th, and we've got an exciting show for you tonight. Myself, along with my co-host and my guest, we're going to be talking about violence in the workplace tonight, mostly healthcare, but I have a couple other places that we are going to talk about as well. So welcome, Lauren, my illustrious co-host.
Oh, hey, girl, hey.
And our guest tonight, Jenna, a young nurse who's got some stories to share with us herself this evening. Welcome, Jenna.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Is this your first podcast experience?
It is.
Yay! You broke your podcast cherry. Woohoo!
Right? You know what? She didn't hesitate, Kristen, when I was like, hey, so me and my best friend, we got this podcast. Actually, she's got it, but I do it with her twice a month. And she's like, yes. So she
was not anything. I'm
ready.
Like, sign me up. Like,
well, see that you were back. You started out as a nurse in the ER, right?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where that comes from. ER nurses, they don't play. It doesn't matter. Like ICU, ER, none of us play at this point. None of us in healthcare play. So to get us started, I thought I would give us some definitions and some statistics first to start us off, because it's not pretty, to be honest. All right. So this is according to the National Library of Medicine from an article in 2023. So it is recent, current, evidence-based data. We don't go pulling stuff off of Wikipedia or Dr. Google, or visitors. Type 3 is colleagues and staff against each other. And type 4 is someone who's got a personal issue with an employee of said institution. So there's that. 4 times more likely to occur, workplace violence, 4 times more likely to occur at a hospital than any other setting. No shit, Sherlock. I didn't need evidence to know that, but I'm going to put that out there anyway. 20% of healthcare providers have experienced some type of abuse in their career. That was significantly higher than I thought it was. Psych wards and EDs have more issues than any other area of a hospital. 1 in 5 people bring a weapon to the ER. Scary, scary shit when I read that. And yet we're not allowed to carry our guns in the hospital. I think it's BS. Nurses are the most common victims. I'm sure this comes as no surprise to anybody. All right, so that's just some statistics. Stories in the news, and these are all within the last 2 months. In York, Pennsylvania, an ICU nurse was shot and a police officer was killed when a patient walked into the ICU and retaliated against the staff in the ICU where his wife had passed away. They did nothing wrong per the reports. A nurse was attacked by a patient here in Florida on the East Coast in February, and she was significantly injured. I did recently read that she is in rehab now and working to regain her strength back and regain her skills back. She was significantly injured in that attack. Lauren and I talked about this recently. A tech was shot when a psych patient was being restrained, and he took the gun from the security guard who was trying to restrain him. In Texas, just last week, an elderly woman was sitting with a psych patient. We call them sitters or observers. She was violently attacked by the patient she was observing last week, a 76-year-old woman, by the way. And then if we have time, we're going to show the video. This is a colleague, staff, workplace violence. They were live streaming a surgery, and there was an issue with a piece of equipment, and there was an exchange between the nurse and the surgeon, and she walked out, and he continued this rude, obnoxious behavior, calling her a bitch, and among other things. And she was fired from that position, not the surgeon.
Super unprofessional of him to talk about, like, when I saw the clip, which again, if there's time we'll show, but like I was befuddled and and I was pissed because if you don't get, like, so Jen and I actually work together, but if Jenna and I didn't get along, we wouldn't speak like that in front of our colleagues or on live air. It would be like, hey, girlfriend, hey, we're going to take this outside, or we're going to take this to the nurse's station, or we're going to take this to the break room.
Or somewhere.
Right. But it's not going to be on live television. I mean, live, whatever.
Live stream. Yep.
Live stream Facebook. And it's definitely not going to be in front of peers. Like,
that video. And just recently, last week, we know about the Border Patrol agents that were attacked in Texas. And then also there was an arsonist who set a fire and lured firefighters into the area, and several firefighters were killed. So workplace violence is around, and we are here to talk about all the things that have happened to us and our experiences. And Jenna, you have a shout out from Marie Mondello. Marie says, "Hi, Jenna."
Hi, Marie. That's my husband's best friend's mom.
Oh, that's nice. Well, hey, Marie, thanks for joining us tonight on the podcast. We appreciate you listening in. So, Jenna, talk to us a little bit how you got into nursing and how you wound up in the ER.
So I got into nursing. So I'll be honest, I'm a chronic illness girl. I have lupus. I've had it for half my life now. Just with all the doctor's visits and hospital admissions I've had and surgeries, like I've always seen how people act towards each other, and it made me realize, you know what, I want to be that person that I wish I had, someone that stood up for me, advocated for me, listened to me, being what I need at that time when I couldn't speak up for myself, sort of thing. So that's what really made me want to be a nurse. I want to be someone's Grey's Anatomy person. If they need me to, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to get you what you need. I'm not going to stop fighting for you until I make sure that I know you're okay. So that's the whole reason I got into nursing. And when COVID hit, that was kind of my big, I need to do something now. People are dying, and I'm just sitting on my couch, thankful that I was home. And I was pregnant at the time. So I was even more thankful that I was able to sit at home and do things. But I was people are out there risking their lives and stuff. And you know what? I need to be doing that too.
And what were you doing before you became a nurse?
I was actually an orthopedic scribe at Hopkins with their total surgeons. They're family to me there. They take really good care of me. They're actually the ones that really convinced me to go in. They're look, you can do this. You can do this. You know so much, it'll be okay for you. So I did a 15-month accelerated RN program.
Woo, girl.
I was doing it. I was going to go straight through. I was not
with a kid.
With a 6-month-old at the time.
Godspeed.
Wow.
Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my husband.
That is a lot.
But yeah, it was a lot. But I'm thankful I did it.
And so you went into the ER right out of school.
I did. I had very few wonderful preceptors in the ER. And the first day she told us that the ER, you kind of know a little bit about everything. And that's how I wanted my nursing foundation to start. I wanted to know little bits about everything. So that way, if I'm ever put in a situation like that, at least I know a little bit to get their care started. To start saying what do I need to be looking out for? I felt that was the best way to get a foundation for me to figure out eventually what I wanted to do.
And how long were you in the ER?
I stayed there a year and a half. I'm still PRN there right now, but I've been out on medical leave. Not sure my body can handle me coming back to the ER right now, but we'll see. We'll see how the next few weeks go.
And is it it's suburban, it's urban, trauma center? What kind of ER you got?
Suburban area here where I live in Maryland. It's but the problem is that the hospital's so overcrowded right now. They actually closed the hospital in my county. So there's one that's a freestanding ER, but the hospital I worked at is the main hospital, the entire county that's got millions of people in there. So you're talking about one tiny, I don't know how many beds it has, but there's a 40, 50 bed ER for the entire county, plus all of the next county next to us because there's no hospital there. So it's so bombarded, so crazy. It's just.
And everybody utilizes the ER like their PCP.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's another thing.
Well, and then we kind of compound the problem, right? We have hospitals closing, and in Lauren's old area in Delaware County, they closed Crozier, Chester, and one of the smaller hospitals associated with Taylor Hospital. I think they closed too.
They closed Taylor. I mean, I think Springfield, it was closed a little while before that, and then Prospect's open. But I mean, you figure Crozier Keystone was a huge system. I mean, they closed down the surgery centers in Britton Lake, and
they were Crozier is a level 1 trauma center, and they closed it down.
Level 1 trauma, and only burn center.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a world-renowned burn center.
Yes. So what we have going on here is people using the ER as their primary care, or people who don't have access to healthcare, they go to the ER and then they just wait and they wait and they wait, and they don't understand the triage process
Nope.
We do have people abusing the system. They think I'm going to come by ambulance, so I'll get seen first. And they call an ambulance and don't need one. And they wind up sitting and they're waiting. And in the process, they get angry and frustrated and start lashing out. So that's why the ED tends to get it worse in terms of violence as opposed to other areas of the hospital. And psych ward, well, that kind of speaks to itself, right? Like we have patients with mental health issues and they need to be treated. And, yes, they may be medicated, they're under watch, but there's a problem. There's definitely a problem with violence in healthcare. And I feel as though every time I turn on, I'm on Facebook, we follow Nurse Erica, and she's a strong advocate for speaking out against healthcare workplace violence. I feel like every week she's got a new story of something that's happened somewhere in some healthcare situation where there's something is going on, and it's just, I feel like it's getting out of control. And you mentioned that you were home during the pandemic, and I'm one of those individuals that was in the ICU during the pandemic, and I just feel that something happened to society that we have just kind of lost our damn minds, and we're just going to lash out against everyone and whatever, and it doesn't matter. Did you see or experiencing anything yourself in your time in the ED?
So
this is why I wanted her on.
Our ER does not have a separate psych block unit. Like I worked at one hospital in Baltimore, and they kept their psych ER separate from the main ER, which was really nice because locked doors, trained people that got all this training that knew how to like de-escalate properly and certain things like that. Our hospital's not like that. We have these like like rooms. They're not even secluded. It's like in a whole pod. And I had one patient come in pure psychosis, and God help these people. Like they really need medical help. Like I really wish there was some way you could help de-escalate. But when someone's like that, there's truly no like way to like reason with them. There's no anything. Luckily, this patient, I was able to calm down enough because everyone knows the whole psych routine. When they come in, you strip them, you strip the room down, all their belongings are locked up. Took me like 20 minutes to even reason with this patient to get. And while I was like taking my time, I was even helping them get dressed. I was like taking off their clothes for them, like telling them exactly what I was going to do, everything. They decided to pull out their tampon and drench it all over my head and face and was like, "You like that, you stupid bitch?" And I was like, just stood there. And I was like,
I'm sorry, I'd have been in jail.
I would have been like, I quit.
Well,
here's my nursing license.
Jenna, I want you to right, Kristen. Jenna told me a couple stories, and my whole thing was, Jenna, I want to touch on the support you had from your admin, from your your administration, and your leaders. Using that term loosey goosey.
When out loud.
When those things, obviously that is extreme, by the way, but when things like that or any violence of any sort happen, because some of what you told me, I was like, I'm sorry that they're allowed to be a quote unquote leader or manager. Like that's unacceptable. So I want you to share that, because I want people to hear the bullshit that nurses have to deal with, whether you've been a nurse for a day or a decade or 40 years. It's bullshit what we have to deal with. So please enlighten the room.
After that incident happened, I still had 4 other patients because I had the whole psychiatric line that night, and one always sets off another.
Oh yeah,
how the line goes, how the everything goes. I could not change that night, could not anything, because I had other patients.
So your manager didn't let you go, like wash up, change your clothes, get your bearings, scream, cry, nothing.
Because you really should have gone to occupational health. Correct. Or ER to
bodily fluid
exposure protocol.
That's not really a thing. People say it's a thing, but it's not really a thing. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Like people say that like your policies, like when you come to orientation, you're supposed to report everything. Blah, blah, blah. That does not happen. You will get spit on, blood everywhere on you, vomit. Like it doesn't matter. It's like you signed up for this, or were you wearing PPE, or were you this? And like sometimes like you have no idea. Like you have no idea something like that's going to happen to you. So it's like, like like, what are we as humans supposed to react? Like, luckily
Right.
I was able to luckily I'm able to step back and look at the bigger picture. But when you have security guards all around there with you and they're just staring and they're not doing anything, it's really frustrating to where you're like, these people can lash out, but I can't lash out.
Right.
I can't have a minute to myself to go to the bathroom and just be like, what just happened?
Right.
But everyone else can.
I want to touch on what you said a couple minutes ago when you were like, we signed up for it. I think were your exact words. We're expected to deal with it because we signed up for it. That is like,
I feel like that's the norm now. When you go
that
to
is such,
I feel
that's such cop out though.
That's
Oh, I agree. It's a cop out. It's not. It's not an argument for
no.
We signed up for this. That's not. It's not
okay.
Right.
That's like saying, oh, you're a cop, you're a police officer. You signed up to get shot. No,
you don't.
Or you're in the military. Oh, you signed up to go to war and die. Of course, what you're getting. There's a difference between signing up and understanding what could potentially happen and occur versus, well, it's your fault. You decided to take this path. Because now the problem isn't these things happen to us. It's now, oh, well, it's your fault it happened. Like you just said, there was no PPE, or, well, you should have reacted differently, or what I was standing still and the bitch took out the tampon and I got myself and rubbed it on my face. How in Sam's hell did I ask for that? And nowhere in nursing school are they like, okay, so on the NCLEX, they're going to ask you this question and they're going to be like, someone takes their tampon out. What do you do? Right. That's not a thing.
No, it's not.
And it pisses me off that at a year and a half in, you have been traumatized to the hilt because of shitty leadership, actually lack thereof, shitty administration, and the expectation that nurses are supposed to bend over and take it. No.
There was one night, they were closing down the area I was working at before they implemented their new thing, that I was left with 9 patients by myself as a new grad, 6 months in, left alone. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And they're like, well, they're all gonna go upstairs. I'm like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter. That's still 9 patients.
Unsafe.
I was like, and then night shift, I understand. People don't want to stay up at night. People don't want to this and people don't want to that. I get it. Night shift's not for everybody. But there comes a time where you have to step your foot down and say, I am absolutely not doing this. But when you say something like that, I feel like there's backhand retaliation against you for saying something like that, or accusing you of patient abandonment because you won't take care of people. I don't understand why that has become normal now. I don't understand why you can't luckily the managers I had, they did step in. When they saw that things were chaos, their nurses, they will step in and take their own lines. But it's very frustrating to just be told when you're coming in, oh, you have 6, 7, 8 patients tonight. And it's just you, no tech. One starts coding on you. One needs this. One needs that. One's getting out of the bed, a fall hazard, and then they'll fall. And then be like, well, why weren't you there? What do you want me to do? I can't clone myself and be in all 5, 6 rooms at one time. What? That's so unrealistic to ask. I'm half the time I'm sitting there, I'm like, if this was your patient, what would you be doing? Please explain your thoughts to me on if you were in my situation, what would you do?
Right. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about workplace violence and kind of how we have gotten into this vicious circle. And we're also going to talk a little bit about federal staffing ratios and all the things when we come back after this break.
Too big, wanting to grow up way too quick, searching for spotlights since I was 6. Hello, my name is Dream Too Big. Hello, my name is way too loud. My voice can cut right through the crowd. Got made fun of for Lost all my words in a mason jar. Locked eyes with a stranger at the end of the bar. Hello, my name is You'll Go Far. Well, hello, my name is One More Try. I put too much stock in bad advice, 'cause anything worth leaving is worth loving twice. Hello, my name is One More Try. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches, but God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You can say I won't make it, and I can tell you that I don't really care. 'Cause hello, my name is going somewhere. Yeah. Hello, my name is getting knocked down. You're never gonna leave the ground. You can tell us all about it when you come back around. Hello, my name is getting knocked down. Hello, my name is stand back up. Keep moving even when it gets rough. I've given so much, but I ain't giving up. Hello, my name is stand back up. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches. God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You can say I won't make it, and I can tell you that I don't really care. 'Cause hello, my name is going somewhere. Going somewhere. Yeah, yeah, Oh, it's going
And we are back from that wonderful song, Lauren Rose Thayer. It's one of my favorite songs. That's why I play it all the time. Before the break, we were talking with Jenna about workplace violence that she has experienced. We have Miss Sharon is watching us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Sharon. We appreciate you.
That's my grandmother.
Oh,
Grandma.
thanks, Grandmom. We love grandmoms. So, what do you have in your year and a half that you were in the that you've been there? Are you feeling that you're seeing an increase, you're seeing a decrease? It's just kind of status. It's been maintaining in your time there.
I feel like it's been maintaining. You're definitely not exposed in nursing school to react in those type of situations. I feel like every one of my coworkers have been through it, not just me. It's just, I feel like it's becoming the normal now. Like, I feel like for healthcare, and regardless, everybody in healthcare, like, I feel like it's the normal now that you should have to deal with this. But at what sacrifice does it come to yourself? That's for me. When I was working nighttime, trying to get my foundation in, no offense to my husband, we were talking about divorce. Like, it was that mentally tolling on me, mentally tolling on him. I was not here. I have a 4-year-old, not present, tired, exhausted, could not mentally get some images out of my head, started thinking badly about myself because of what I've heard, and things eventually get to you very badly and negatively, having panic attacks before going to work, having to get on anxiety medication. I was like, life should not be like this. So then I dipped my toes in dialysis for a little while. And let me tell you that I was like, I don't know what's worse, the ER or this dialysis.
Yeah.
The people
Half the patients in the ER need dialysis anyway.
We're so ignorant. Like, I was like, I never in my entire life, I was like, we are adults. And I was probably the youngest one there. But like, they were talking bad about you, and not only talking bad about you in front of patients, in front of coworkers, the entire clinic floor could hear everything about you. There were comments made about my skin tone there. There were so many things, like technicians telling patients I'm trying to kill them, right to their face, charting against me in there. I was like, I don't know what's worse right now. I was like, would I rather be attacked, like hammered by a patient, or like dealing with these people that think so little of me just because I have an RN behind my name? It was just like, I was like, where's the happy medium here? Like, I was so after that, and unfortunately I got super ill in April. I had a huge stomach surgery, put me out for 8 weeks, but I couldn't help but think that happened to me because all the stress I was under from work, like from all the things, like I was crying every day, like it was just like how that happened, I was like, I need to take a complete reset on everything, and even thought about walking away from nursing after only like 2 years. That to me was just like, why is this normal? Like, why do people not talk about it?
Well, here's the thing. It's not normal, Jenna. This is not normal behavior. This is not how most people in any job. Can you imagine someone in payroll, HR, construction, lawyers, people at Target, the cashiers? Nobody else deals with this shit but healthcare workers. Mm-hmm. And someone just commented, Marie Mondello said, patients feel like we're their mates. I said for years when I worked in the ER in Trenton, I was like, this is a hospital, not the Hilton. Get your ass together. I am not your maid. I am not your servant. We are out of turkey sandwiches. Goodbye. I'm so sick of being treated like someone's, I'm not beneath anybody.
Yeah. The big H does not mean hotel. It means hospital. And we are here to help you and support you, but we are not here to cater to you. And as the elder stateswoman of the group here amongst the three of us, as I sit here, 28 years, this was not really like when I first became a nurse 100 years ago with Florence. It was like nurses eat their young, and we got like nurses were bullied. We were bullying each other. And I feel as though we, 5-10 years and all these years later, we have definitely made some strides and we're supporting each other, but it still happens. We still have that, coworker, violence, so to speak, where we kind of get bullied. And we have to, professionally call people out when, they're acting appropriately. When I worked at a hospital in New Jersey, I got floated from the ICU to another floor, and I had a patient I was having a hard time with, and I needed medication, and I could not get a hold of the physician. It was during COVID, and this individual wasn't answering, and the nurses were like, I'm like, he's got to have a service. What's the number? And they're like, oh, well, you can call him, but he's going to be mean to you and yell at you. And I'm like, what? No. This is not how that works. Here's the time. We're going to talk about this later. But so I called this physician, the service, and I said, he has 5 minutes to call me back because I've been trying to get a hold of him for 2 hours. He's got 5 minutes where I'm calling the chief of staff, and hung up the phone. And when you know it, within 2 minutes, he called me right back. And he was, a little abrupt, and I was abrupt right back. And I pushed back at him and got what I needed. And then afterwards, I was like, ooh, did I threaten him? I may have. And I called the supervisor, and she's like, what did you do now? And I said, well, I may or may not have threatened Dr. Jones. And she's like, well, did he deserve it? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And she's like, don't worry about it. I got you. But one of the things I said to the nurses on that floor who he had been bullying, I said, every time he does that, if he yells at you on the phone, in person, you need to write an incident report, because administration can't track it unless if you leave a paper trail, they're going to have no choice but to address the issue. And then like 6 months later, one of those nurses got floated in my ICU. And I'm like, hi, I'm Kristen. Welcome to the ICU. Let me show you around. She's like, oh, I know who you are. And I was like, she's like, oh, we all know who you are. You're that nurse who told off Dr. So-and-so. And she's like, you know what? Since then, he's stopped yelling at us and bullying us, and he has been much better. So sometimes you have to push back, but we certainly should not be taking it by any means. And I'm really sorry that this has been your, your
introduction to nursing.
You're still a baby nurse. Like, you are 2 years in, and I'm like, oh, I just want to come home and take care of you because you're this young baby nurse. You shouldn't be experiencing any of this. It's too early in your career. Here we go. Hold on, Kristen.
That's the thing we say. But now that we're talking about it, we just made it sound like it's okay if we're old nurses to deal with it. It's never okay.
Oh, it's never okay.
But we should not be being indoctrinated into nursing, into healthcare by abuse.
Agree.
Because that's like, there was this mass flood that came in, and then in the early 2000s or something like that. And then again, like 10 years later, they had like this need. But from like 2007 to like 2010, there was like no desire for nurses, and all these nurses were coming out because of the need. And then like 10 to 15, there was a big influx. But then all of a sudden COVID hit in 2020, and they were pumping out nurses like it was, I don't even know. I don't have an analogy at this point, but they were pumping out nurses like crazy. And nurses are leaving in drones. Chris, we've had this conversation, I don't know, a couple months back, where you told us stats on the amount, like the deficiency of nurses in the next 10 years. Like we'll be in such a need that it's going to be an actual crisis. And they can't expect this to change if they do not change. Your doctor should not be talking down to us. I understand that you have a DO or an MD. That's good for you. But I'm actually the one that saves your ass more than anything else, because I catch all your errors, because your baby ass floating around on July 1st thinking you know everything after 6 years of additional school, but you can't spell school anymore because your brain is fried, doesn't help. And doctors are becoming more and more arrogant, more and more entitled, and they have now bought into the insurance company and big farm and are all about money, in my opinion. Not all of them. I have met and worked with some absolutely amazing physicians that I would like stake my health on. But that doesn't change the fact that as a whole, we are pumping out just as much shitty physicians as we are nurses at this point, because and then we're fleeing. The rest of us that are good, that do want to do this and do want to do good and do no harm type of thing, are fleeing. Because we're burnt out. The patients are entitled. The patients have lost their ever-loving freaking mind since 2020. And the ones that didn't lose their mind are just complete assholes now, because they don't care if they're showing that side of them anymore.
Yeah, they're figuring like, you're going to treat me this way, I'm going to treat you this way. And that's been mended into like their personality now. Like, I get like pushing back and stuff, but like after you get treated like that, and you start, it becomes a part of you. And it becomes like you have to act this way in order to like see that you're getting some sort of respect. But at the end of the, like being at the turntable, being like someone that's new and coming in and seeing you think differently of them, but then you also like got to think like they were formed to be like, something happened to make them this way. And now it's negatively affecting them as a person. So that's when I said, where's the line here? Like, where's the line to where you have to step back and say, you want to help people, but they always say you can't help anybody until you help yourself. So
right.
When are you going to help yourself to be better for your future patients? That's kind of like the realization I had.
Well, nobody's talking about the impact that the career that we have, the profession that we have chosen has on us. And, and we can all attest to the fact that when we went to school, and obviously some things have changed, but you learn your assessment skills, you learn medications, you learn how to make a bed, and occupied and unoccupied. There's all these skills and tasks. And oh, by the way, here's how you pass your NCLEX. But there's no real practical application. And time has evolved and technology has evolved, the profession has evolved. And I don't yes, we have to evolve, but to a certain extent. I feel that I spend so much time in front of the computer documenting now that I'm not with my patients. Like, I can remember being in nursing school, and Marie, who's listening in, maybe can attest to this too, that I learned how to give a patient a back massage during a bed bath. And now we're literally not even bathing our patients anymore. We're literally wiping them down with a CHG cloth because we're trying to reduce germs and infections. And I don't disagree with that. But there's so much, the Joint Commission and all these awards and all these things that we send so much. We are losing the humanity in the career where we need it the most. And as technology has evolved, and the emergence of social media and video gaming, we are losing that ability to interact with each other. So we've lost social grace. And those of us who are in healthcare are kind of caught in the middle of this quagmire of crap. And it's, Joint Commission, this and that. And that'll be a whole nother conversation for another day about the Joint Commission. But yeah, as things have changed, we are losing the humanity in the profession of nursing, and that's not good for nurses. And it's not good for patients. Period.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. 30% of nurses have PTSD, and it's law enforcement is about 19%. So our rate of PTSD is higher than law enforcement. Like, just let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
I can't get over. I mean, I've been a nurse 16 years. So Chris, you got, 12 on me. But even when I started, we were doing papers. This technology shit wasn't, I had, when it came on, I was scared to death. I'm like, can I just keep my pen, please? Like,
the 4-colored pen.
Right. For the love of God. And it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It literally became tasking instead of nursing. So now I am clicking everything to make sure it's done and barely writing on a damn thing, except for maybe like at our job, the ride's phone number to come pick them up. And you know what I mean? Like, you don't even really need a pen, shit. But you're not building rapport. Everything. I'm going to be real honest. Where Jenna and I work, it's almost like a freaking assembly line. We have got this shit down like Chick-fil-A. Like, it is like boom, boom. It is so efficient, which I'm going to say is great for this field. But we have lost the humanity by making it so efficient, and we're pumping out these patients like ridiculously to the point where they're like, oh my God, you were great, but I was here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
How are we already done? Like, I needed Jenna for something today because I knew she was the nurse in the room and I was the nurse doing, or this was yesterday, I guess, but admissions. And I'm like, oh my God, our one patient canceled. I need you. Can you drop a line while I do X, Y, and Z? Because we have like 7 minutes and I should not be timed. I should be able to form a relationship with the patient. Not saying I need an hour to do that, but we have lost, you nailed it, the humanity in healthcare. And insurance companies is about money and big pharma is about money. And now doctors are caught in the center of that because, MD school, medical school is kind of like both hawking on them on how to form the perfect doctor. And the perfect doctor is not a great one anymore. And they're impersonable. And it's just.
I do know there's rumors going around. I don't know if they're true or not. A lot of our ER physicians at the hospital I did work at, a lot of them quit. They signed a contract with an outside facility that's now all about money and how many people you can discharge and how many of this. And I'm like, where has this gone to? Like,
right.
Where are we going? Like, did we just forget that they're human beings and they're just money banks rolling through now to be like, oh, how many
numbers?
I see this roll through and make sure they go home and, oh, that looks better on me because I'm not admitting as many people.
Right.
How's that even factor into anything? Like, that should not even be an equation to worry about.
And why are we rated like a hotel?
Money. Yeah. Like, everything's about money now. And I get healthcare is expensive, like stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, like you have to say, I was just like, we want this for our family members? Like, no, I want someone to sit down and talk to me and listen. And like I said, I got into nursing
give a damn
because of that. Like, I actually care. I want you to, and if we can't take care of you here, I want to make sure you get to the care where someone can take care of you, where someone can listen to you,
right? Get
you to that path. Like, that's just.
And do you remember one of the big reasons most of us became nurses? We all have a different actual reason, right? But one of the big reasons we became it is because at some point in our lives, we saw someone treating somebody that we loved not the way we would want them to be treated. Mm-hmm. And we were like, no, I want you to look at John Smith that just walked in as someone's pop, as someone's dad, as someone's uncle, as someone's son. Like, they're somebody's someone. Mm-hmm. And we have done away with that being okay to treat them like they're somebody's someone. Instead, you are number one. You are an MR number. And we have to be efficient and make this happen quickly. And we stopped being a face and we started being a number. And it's depressing as shit that we as employees are also a number. And now they're like, oh, fill out this survey. How was your experience? This is not a spa.
Yeah, it's not.
My experience was shit. And an exit interview, you do not want me to answer those questions because you're not going to do anything about what I have to say anyway.
I feel like they claim these surveys are going to like do something. I'm like, they just are kind of like covering them to be like, oh, we addressed it, but nothing's going to come of those. Nothing ever does. Like, you can sit down and interview for days and days and days. What are you going to do to fix it? Nothing. You just want to look good on paper that you asked about it.
And
not
magnet,
come up with.
do you remember when that was such a big thing? Oh, we're a magnet hospital. Bitch, you're terrible.
Yeah.
Chris, you can't hear you.
Accreditations and everything.
You're muted. You're muted. There you go.
Now, I don't know how that happened.
You're good.
So magnet. So I will say, having a non-magnet hospital, there is a difference between a magnet and a non-magnet. And if I had a choice, I would definitely choose to work and go get care in a magnet hospital.
Correct.
That's for sure. But I do have some frustration with, Press Ganey scores and what are our scores and yada yada. And I feel like, healthcare is a business, but it's not a business. And I understand that, everybody has to make money, but at the same time, we have to take care of people and we have to take care of employees. And it's a whole cycle. Like there's a lot of discussion going on right now about, federal staffing ratios for, ICU, ER, mother, NICU. All these areas should have safe staffing ratios, and that is a hill I will die on. Like
yes,
works, and
I would love it there. That was the one thing that, like I was saying, like if there has to be one law that's implemented, there needs to be a federal law with every state on board for any healthcare license that regardless as this person, you are only responsible for XYZ patient rate. That's it. You cannot go over it. You cannot go below it. Like, so that way, like when people ask you, be like, no, this is the state. You tell me to practice under my license regulations, and this is on license regulation now. So to ask that, you're violating policy there. So I'm just like, when I'm hoping, like, just hope sometime someone will be like, look, this needs to happen.
Well, and we're kind of like, again, we're stuck in a cycle of violence, literally and figuratively, right? Because we don't have safe staffing ratios. So we are expected to do more with less. Yeah. And then we have people who don't have access to healthcare, who are going to the hospitals for basic healthcare, and we're backing up the system. And then it's, we have so much, everybody's just Googling Dr. Google, and things are on TikTok. And if you're getting your healthcare advice from Dr. Google or from TikTok, you are sorely mistaken in that you are going to get good advice, and something bad is going to happen. And this, just as a side note, vitamin K is not a vaccine, ladies. If you are pregnant, having a baby, it's okay for your baby to have vitamin K. It's a medication. It's not a vaccine.
They need to have their blood clot. Thank you.
They need to have, yes, because a baby died recently, and because the mom was taking her advice from freaking TikTok.
Well, and it's influencers now that think they have a degree, and it's like, bitch, you have an opinion.
Right. And so now we have people who think they know everything, but they really don't have the experience. We, as nurses, like you said, went into nursing because we wanted to help people and take care of people, but we don't have time to even sit with you and talk to you and explain the pros and cons of everything because we're so busy, like you said, taskmaster, click, checking boxes in Epic, Meditech, whatever your electronic health record is. God help me. Can we just go back to friggin' paper?
Yeah, I was like a big thing on documenting now with us newer nurses is like one of my preceptors always told me, no one cares about your license except you and your mom. And it's true. Yeah, no one cares. True. So everyone was like laughing at me in the ER when my scars and myself came out, when I wrote a narrative saying I took these patients, I saw them walk with a steady gait, blah, blah, blah. I hooked them to every single monitor. I made sure their vitals were stable. I went over their things, and they're like, why are you typing so much? I'm like, because God knows if something happens, I can tell you what exactly I did from the beginning to the end. Like, I'm trying to tell a story of my care until I transfer them off, because God knows patients will love to come back, and you be called in a courtroom 2-3 years later and be like, who is this person? Like, I have no idea.
Right. You won't even remember.
I wrote this. This is what I stand by. I wrote, but people are laughing at me saying, why are you writing so much? I feel like as a new nurse, being on there, it was just like, protect your license. Like, I felt like I had to document everything that I was doing to make sure if something happened, then they can refer back and be like, this is exactly what I did.
Well, right. And that's what they teach us in school. If you didn't document it, you didn't do it. So I'm going to document it.
And that's the thing is, it's like, I might have to write a book because, when I got my master's, and Chris knows it was in forensics. I did an entire internship in the courtroom with forensic nurses as well, at the morgue, in a law office for months. And one of the things I went through when I was in the law office at the public defender's office was nursing notes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these notes, I'm like, oh, they just effed themselves so bad, because all it says is we'll continue to monitor. Now, while that is an amazing thing to continue to monitor,
never write that in a thing, because you are not always there.
And it was like that was all they would write. Voter sign stable, and then 17 hours later, I'm like, well, what happened in them 17 hours, boo boo?
Right.
Like you can't always click. And I will share this. When we were stationed in Nashville, my first job there was in a PACU at a hospital that is a very good hospital, but there was a couple new nurses, and one of them was a little bit too big for his britches, and he never once would look at a patient in a PACU that did neurosurgery, cardiac surgery, the whole shenanigan line. He would never look at the patient. He was staring at the monitor, and I'm like, you're gonna kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You can't always rely on, number one, equipment.
Monitors. Yep.
And number two, the patient is sitting at 79 up there, but having a clear old conversation with me.
Right.
And like, I had to orient him, and I'm like, oh, you got to stop. Like, some of these nurses have to, like, they're being trained. It's just all the new age shit. And I'm like, but we didn't, even 15 years ago, 10 years ago, they were not trained of stare at the monitor, do this. No, you have to be intimate with the patient to a point.
Right. You have to know
Look
your
at your patient.
Mm-hmm.
Put your hands on your patient.
Yes. Assessment. Do you remember when we went through our
touch your patient
please don't just nobody read between those lines, trust me, I'm good. But Chris, do you remember when we did our what were we in, TNCC?
Yes.
Like, the assessments should be just as thorough on any floor, maybe not like a trauma assessment per se, but like, we strayed away from that. And Jenna can attest. I know, Chris, you're at the bedside a few times a month now because you've taken an elevated role. But I don't know about you, Jenna, but I am not looking at the patients as much as I need to, because I'm too busy typing everything. And I'm like, okay. Yep.
Or we have phones to do all our documenting, and they think that we're on our phones. It's like, no, I'm just documenting.
Right.
No, I'm scanning my medications because by the way, the scanner in the room is broken. Yeah. I got to use my phone, and these old ASIs are trying to read the phone.
Like, enlarge.
But
yes, and I just feel, do no harm. Most of us are still keeping, right? Like, but we've alienated ourselves.
Yeah. Agree.
It's sad. It's sad. And Chris and I just shared with you, this doesn't necessarily have to do with workplace violence, but it has to do with what medical has turned into, per se. There was, and it was on the news, like, this was documented on the news, a pediatrician, I don't remember where now, what state she was actually from, but a pediatrician just said that the people that have died in Texas deserved it because they are Trump supporters. I'm sorry, but politics does not belong in healthcare. And children died. A pediatrician said it was okay for the children whose parents voted for whoever they voted for, if they even voted, deserved it. These were children. That was a pediatrician. I'm like, that's healthcare? You vowed to do no harm, and you just said their deaths were justifiable because of your political beliefs. That's another thing. We should not be mixing the two.
Agree.
And I don't know. Who thinks that? I mean, it is, as if you're a mom, and both of you are, right. I'm devastated over this loss of these children. For their families.
I'm sick in my stomach over it.
Oh, absolutely. I'll put heb.com, that thing, you can donate there, and they're actually supplying like frontline support. I donated because I was like, oh my God, these babies, these parents, like, I would be.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like, I'm that type of person, like, something like that happens. Like, if I was ever in the position, like, later in life to be like, I'm going to help. Like, this is what I'm doing now. I'm going down there to help. Like, yes. I can't imagine people just being like, oh, this happened because of blah, blah, blah. Because, like, I don't even know, like, what kind of mental insanity do you have to say?
But this is what we're also, people aren't realizing in the general public, what we are dealing with in healthcare. It's like, I shouldn't have to be concerned about going to work and not only being verbally or potentially physically assaulted by patients, but then come at from peers because we have different beliefs that shouldn't even be brought to the table at work.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with it. Exactly. There's no place
for we are here to help. And Jenna, I don't know if you remember at work on Monday, but I got into an altercation with a
Yeah,
patient.
it was with it was ours. It was ours. It was
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right, the crazy lady.
Mhm.
So that's right, I forgot. But I shut her shit down. I said, no, ma'am, this won't be happening here today. Okay, goodbye. Like, I mean, there was many more words said.
Right.
Right. But people need to realize you will not speak to us any which way. If you come out of pocket and I meet you, if you come at me like you're on the street and the street meets you, don't get surprised. Number one. Number two, we vowed to do no harm and we're trying to help you. Why are people taking that and thinking that we are their, and I hate this word, but this is what it comes across as, almost like they're slaves and we're to do their beck and call and we are to do everything they say exactly when they say and F us.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand you don't feel good. Like,
Right.
I'm standing there too. You know what? I don't feel good on the daily, but I get up, I get out of bed, I do what I got to do. But how does that give you a right to treat me like an asshole? Like, why do you feel the privilege to treat me badly? Like, yes, I understand you don't feel well, but like, what can I do to like they're acting like I'm some miracle worker and can give some miracle type thing and then yell at me when they don't get what they want. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I hate having the conversations of I don't make the decisions for them.
Right.
We are not the people who are ordering your things. We are not. We are here to carry out what a physician tells us to do. If you don't like it, then you need to take it up with them or you need to leave. I'm not going to fight with you. You want to sign up AMA? Here's the form.
And they are never
fight for you. That's your health. You're not hurting me. That's your health, your life. You're going to risk it.
Goodbye.
Right.
And they are never like that with the physician. Have any of you ever been, I mean, this happened to me a lot in the ER. You would be berated, belittled, screamed at to the umpteenth, degree. And the doctors walk in, they'd be like, oh my God, yeah, no, it's fine. You're like,
yeah. And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I stand there, I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
I'm like, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, calm down. What the fuck? Like, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, yeah. And really there are some states where it is a felony to assault a healthcare worker. And we really need to make that consistent. It should be across the board.
Because assault in general is a felony.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, if a patient came at me, I would be filing a police report, hands down.
Jenna, you should have.
Like, I can tell you, I've been looked in the dead face by a patient going through a psychiatric episode, told me and one of my coworker friends that they were going to tie us up, rape us, and then kill us like a slowly death. Like, that staring like dead into your face eyes. Like, I don't get terrified of patients, but that moment truly terrified me.
Yeah,
and I would have been terrified too, Jenna.
100%.
Security's yelling at you to get them restrained. I'm like, yes, I'm a bigger person in real life, but like, I can't take down some 6'3", 250-pound man.
Nor should you have to.
Correct.
Like,
nor should you have to.
Right.
I'm just like, that's why you all are here, is to help with those sort of things. But no, we don't think. And then they file incident reports against us. And then it's just a whole back. And I'm like, we all, no matter what role you have, everyone comes together to take care of a person and make sure not only a patient's safe, but we're safe. Like, that's your job to do that. Like,
I know I would not wish nursing on my worst enemy at this point. And it's sad to say that. I mean, my daughter, y'all know, but some of the audience knows that, like, I've got a 6-year-old daughter, and from the door, I've been like, you will not go into medicine. Like, I want better people in medicine because we all have kids and family that we want cared for well, but I'll be damned if I let my daughter go through the abuse, the mental mind F and all that we have. I mean, I posted on my story yesterday about the altercation, and I had a girlfriend that I worked with in the ER, and she messaged me and she's like, girl, I am so jaded and dead from the ER. And she's like, I left, but now I'm like, I don't care anymore. And I was like, that's called being burnt out, right? Like, I said, the nursing has turned us into, if you're not already cold, dark, and dead, nursing will do it.
That's
like, seriously, it sucks the soul out of you.
It changed me at home. I was not the same fun, bubbly person that loved to go out and do everything. I was tired, miserable, had attitude, like always felt something bad. And that's when I was just like, I can't. Like, I will not sacrifice a job for my family's not being sacrificed for a job. I will absolutely never.
Because your family's always going to be there.
Like, those will be the people that mourn me when I'm not gone compared to the people that are going to be posting your job the next day.
Correct.
Well,
no, I
and
can't say that about where we work now. I love where we work now. Like,
No, yeah, we do. We have great leadership. Yeah, no, I will say we got a good one.
and she's coming on in a couple of weeks, your boss.
Yeah, she'll be on in 2 weeks actually.
Oh, I'm so
Yes.
excited. She's so amazing. I'm so glad I met her. So glad she hired me.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah, and people say like, "Oh, well, you only work 3 days a week." Yeah, well, because we need those days in between for like
to cry,
to decompress, to cry, to relax, to de-stress. It's a lot. I mean, 12 hours of running on your feet is
Come
a
on,
lot.
girl.
got a lunch break.
No, it's not 12 hours. How many times you got held over because report or a code happened? You are rarely there 12. It is like a 13 and a half.
13 and a half, 14 hours with no
Sometimes
break.
you eat, sometimes you don't. You're like,
sometimes you pee, sometimes you don't.
Energy drinks, UTIs all the time because I never went to the bathroom during times. I just didn't have the didn't have the time to do it. Or as soon as I have time, something else happens.
And I will say, I think this needs to be taken up. I mean, we could talk for hours and days about the things going on in healthcare, the violence and as a whole, the violence as a whole, and the PTSD and the anxiety, depression, everything that trickles down from it, right? Divorces even. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this needs to be taken to like DC and like truly be discussed about not just staffing ratios, but the fact that they are allowing nurses to be violently abused, some of them killed.
To me, it should also be brought up, if you are ever put in that situation, you should 100% get workers' comp. Workers' comp should be a thing for mental health problems in healthcare. No matter what you do, if you get treated guess what? You need to take off. Like I had to take off one day, but I had to use my own PTO. That should not be.
That should not be a thing.
You should be able to, if people are going to treat you like you should be able to be. That's mental health is part of your health. That should be a paid thing for you to sit at home, relax, and regroup.
Yes, the healthcare, the caretakers need to be taken care of. And I think
that there's not going to be any soon. Florence Nightingale is turning over in her grave, pissed the F off, because this is not what she envisioned.
No, not even
when she helped us with hand hygiene.
Yeah,
Clara Barton is mortified.
Yeah, all our nursing ancestors are like, "What is going on down there?" Like David from Schitt's Creek, like.
This is bad. This is so bad. And God's up there like, doing that. Yeah. Jesus is like, you know what? No, y'all, you get a pass. You sinned, we get it. Come on in. Like,
all right. So we have about a minute left. Jenna, what motivates and inspires you to continue on your nursing career path?
I saw that passion that I'm going to be your person. What you need, I'm going to do it for you. I'll scream at a doctor for you, whatever I have to do to make sure you are well taken care of. That's what keeps motivating me to do it, to keep doing what I do. Because
don't let nursing steal that from you.
Yeah. Hold on to that. Get your little Nightingale lamp and hold on to it.
Because I want people like you to be caring for my family. It's,
yes.
Or me.
Yes, nurses out there who are listening, please make sure you are practicing self-care and taking care of yourself. It is okay. Just like they say on the airplane, put your mask on first and help other people around you. It works the same way. And we need to start having more conversations about nurses taking better care of each other. Jenna, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a great conversation. Lauren, as always, it was entertaining and educational and honest. And I appreciate that from you always.
You're always going to get honesty with me, girl.
Well, for the Dog Tag Diva and Jenna and Lauren, I'm here to remind you to greet each day with purpose, passion, and tenacity, and be kind to each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.